The National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, brought a message to the Parliament in the sectoral debate earlier this week that very few of his peers over the last 30 years have had the pleasure of communicating. Murders continue to decline quarter after quarter, review period against review period. And as he says, the investment in the security forces continues to outstrip that which was made under previous administrations. The big question, how will these gains, hard won as they have been, how will they be sustained? He's my guest today on Lead Story to articulate just that. Welcome to Lead Story here on CVM TV on this Wednesday, April 30th, the final day in the month. Curiously, I never did learn that bit about 30 days have September, April, whatever. I learned that in high school, and I felt a little bit odd because I was the only one in the class not seeing it. And I wondered, well, what was happening at my primary school? We weren't taught that. Or maybe we were taught and I forgot. I highly doubt I forgot. I just think it never came across our teachers. But I learned it from my colleagues, and I'm very happy I did. Nice ditty, it actually is. Anyway, we're not here to talk about primary school ditties. Here to talk about the serious business of national security. And the National Security Ministry held court in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, talking about the performance so far under the various units under the ministry, especially the JCF, and what they've done to bring the murder rate down, to reduce major crime. And he spoke about how the administration is intending to continue supporting this effort so that the success can be replicated over a long time until murders are at a level that is reflective of the democracy that Jamaica is. So, what did he say in essence in that contribution on Tuesday?
This is the picture the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, wants people to focus on. It shows major crimes and murders in particular trending downwards.
Do not watch the headlines. Pay attention to these trends. Yes. In today's world, access to information through social media is faster than ever. Our headlines are often sensational, focusing on the negative while giving little attention to the positive. In some cases, they may even spread misinformation.
The crime statistics for Jamaica from January 1 to April 27, 2025 indicate a significant reduction in violent crime compared to the previous year. Specifically, there have been 227 murders reported during this period. This figure represents a notable decrease of 132 fewer lives lost, equating to a 37% reduction when compared to the same time frame in 2024.
There are strong signals, Madam Speaker. The tide has turned. If you look at the graph online, you'll see that since November, it really started November 2022 when the act was passed. But from 2022 until now, there's a steady increase in the number of firearms. And while I cannot give the detailed reports, I can see from the reports I receive from the police, there are many coming with the reports of targeted search, which means somebody gave them information to go to point X and you find a firearm, even when they don't get a chance to arrest anybody.
Dr. Chang said his ministry is preparing to table proposed amendments aimed at modernizing the Immigration Restriction Act and the Aliens Act. This initiative, he explains, is part of a broader strategy to enhance Jamaica's border management and security capabilities. The minister said if the current downward trend in murders continues, the country would be on track to record fewer than 800 murders in 2025.
The figure 800, Madam Speaker, is important. The members the same because it's the view of the experts who are both in the force, outside the force, and the academics that based on the fact that much of the murders in Jamaica are based on reprisal and using contract killing, when you get below 800, you'll be able to have a sustainable reduction and take it even lower down. When you're above 800, the reprisal rate is so high, even with a strong police force, we have a challenge maintaining a murder rate below it.
Dr. Horace Chang, the National Security Minister, he's here. You'll hear from him after this break.
electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. We've got everything, stocking top brands like CNCs, Philips, and Allen Bradley. We guarantee quality and reliability. Shop with us and save with even free island-wide delivery. Conditions apply. Visit us at Shop 8 Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in electrical business.
Join my private room. Only $1,000 for a grand time.
That I know me. We never said that. But who going to believe me?
That is correct. $4,350,000. Yes, go ahead. $4 million? I never approved that.
Yes, me I go doctor tomorrow. So me have to get the money today, no longer. Then no me face that. We never make no record or beg nobody no money.
Deepfakes are AI-generated images and videos made to look and sound like people we know and trust. They're used to spread misinformation, destroy reputations, and are used to commit fraud and scams. Don't fall victim to deepfakes. Protect yourself. For more information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or scan the QR code on screen.
Welcome back to Lead Story here on CVM TV. Getting right to the Minister of National Security now, Dr. Horace Chang. He's the Member of Parliament for Northwest St. James. Just to get this bit out of the way so we can spend the rest of the program talking about national security. In your capacity as General Secretary of the JLP and, of course, the Deputy Prime Minister, your reaction to your administration's insistence that, look, there's no need to change course from the decision we took last year to put the Political Ombudsman's office into the ECJ, that can work well and we're willing to stay the course despite the cause for change?
Well, the Ombudsman is there to really mediate disputes and look at some ethical behavior, and had very little power to hold anybody accountable. Mm-hmm. ECJ is a body that has been proved itself in terms of its independence, despite the structure and its integrity, and by transmitting the Ombudsman role they are providing, they have enough authority to hold people accountable. Mm-hmm. And that is, I think, makes a difference. In addition to which, it is, as a country, we keep setting up a lot of independent commissions, which cost a lot of money. Mm-hmm. If there is no absolute necessity for it, then, keep it there. I think you have the chairman of the committee will, in fact, play the critical role in this station. And I think we have an effective chairman that can carry out that role. Mm-hmm. And when the Ombudsman was set up, political violence is a major problem. Today it's the difference between a literally violent, almost criminal activity compared to a rude child. It's more rudeness going around now than individuals quarreling over issues, displaying pamphlets, some paraphernalia, maybe in the wrong place at the wrong time. These are issues that can be mediated pretty easily and straightforward situation. I think you need to have a new body set up for that.
So the decision to not change course, you think is the right one?
I think it's the correct thing to do. Keep it there, the Electoral Commission, and bear in mind, if the Electoral Commission calls a candidate who refused to respond, the Electoral Commission have the ultimate right to refuse your nomination, They can dictate you're not fit to be nominated at this point.
Key lever to pull. All right, hear you on that.
Ultimately, we hope you don't have to get there, but they know that they have authority.
Have that power. Let's talk about national security now, because here's where I want to go with you. We hear a lot about the decline in major crime and especially murders, and the firearms recovered or seized. I like to say seized, the ammunition seized and all that. But I want to go to the things that make all of that possible. And I want you to say, based on what you said in the sectoral speech, since you have been managing this office of national security as minister, how much has been invested in the security forces to yield the results that we're talking about today?
We'd have to take it as security forces. We're looking maybe at this point now they've spent maybe up to $60 billion.
Since 2018?
Yeah. You average, an average of roughly 10 billion a year. It's 5 years, but some of it is still being spent. Like the new divisional headquarters in Salvamar, which not finished, but the men are seeing something that they can believe will happen. When they come in from a station in which they were falling through the roof, the floor.
True.
But that's $2.8 billion. Spanish Town would be another, old knockdown place, and that's 2.5 billion. That alone is roughly near $6 billion. So that's expenditure that's ongoing, and we have another 6 stations in construction, and motor vehicles we spent $2.4 billion last year. So, in fact, the capital expenditure is what been in the region of $60 to $70 billion. We have changed for good budgeting. We now put things like motor cars and radios on a recurrent budget, which used to be on capital budget. See, I'm happy to give a detail, but we're in that kind of region, which is a huge amount of money, much more than ever been spent in policing.
So does it bother you then that people almost want to hurry past these facts when looking at the investment that has been made in national security on your watch?
It's worrying, and more, it's worrying when leaders who have the education and the stature and respect of society just flip past these things. Because if those who are in position of leadership do not appreciate what had to be done, you could have all of that in another situation being reversed. I find a lot of the working class people, which has had the benefit of reduced murders, sensitive to it. It is not a creation of my mind to impress the crowd when I said I'm now meeting in a working class community in Norwood. And the gentleman was quite happy to put up his hand and say, I want to talk to the MP. I can tell you now when the cars are coming up here, when they used to come up here, they used to just go make noise on the road to hear them a mile away. And not because they're a siren, because they're falling apart.
Yes.
So there's a good sense among those who have benefited directly in these communities, like zones of special operation, which is quite opposite to the talking heads, that something has been done different and something positive has been done. It's how we could be criticized for how we have messaged that.
Yes.
But part of the challenge we have had is, and I have as an administrator, not to over-politicize the activity of the police. Because I think if we keep it national and it becomes institutionalized, then that's where the sustainability come in.
Yes.
When officers themselves will take a position that if you try to use the police force in a negative way, they will take a position that will not allow it to happen.
All right, so 60 billion, you say, in capital expenditure, at least since 2018.
Between the police and the army.
And the army, for sure, across the JDF and the JCF. And you also make the point that the acquisition of motor vehicles and I call it first line equipment, tools.
It could have to do with keep.
Right, I know recurrent expenditures, rather than capital expenditure. Right, good. Okay. So then, let's touch on the morale of the people serving the security forces, because often when you hear the morale argument, it's often as if the only way to increase morale is to pay more. But what difference have you found that the fact that you don't use a pit toilet anymore, the fact that you won't fall through the floor of a police station? One of my friends, went to high school with him, called me the first day he was transferred to a rural area police station to say he's leaving the force. I said, why? He said he fell through the floor in Westmoreland at this particular station. So I'm saying, have these things tangibly impacted the morale of the men and women of the JC?
No, without a doubt. At this point in time, the morale is high, it's strong, they're committed. This is why we're having significant reduction in major crime and homicide. They're on the road, they're out there tracking down the criminals and with energy. They have no doubt in my mind the morale of the force has significantly, it's a difference. It's cheap to chalk, as you say. It's hard to compare because it's not relative. It's just a new level of commitment. The officer corps leading it seems committed to what they're doing. You can just listen to an officer speak after, say, an accident or an incident. You listen to someone speaking confidently and sure about what they're doing. But
using the language well.
And using the deed, which is quite a differentiation from when, even if they could use the language well, they were tired, they were demoralized, they just talk. So that has come a long way, and it is, even where they are still rundown station at 6, we're going to rebuild. The men are working because they know we'll keep our commitments to rebuild.
Hear you on that. Let's take another break. Come back. Lead story here at CVM TV, speaking with the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang.
deserves a home filled with love. When hope meets heart, a new journey begins.
Welcome home, David.
Welcome, David. Make it your own.
Family is built on moments shared.
Go, David, yes!
Every smile and every shared moment connects us with a brighter future. Here, you're not just welcomed, you're family. Foster hope, foster love, foster a child today. Contact the CPFSA for more information.
Pedestrians, stay alert. Keep your head up and stay off the phone while crossing the road. Don't be a distracted walker. Every step matters. Look out before you step out. A message from the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport.
The doctors and nurses here at Bustamante Hospital took care of me.
At Noel Holmes Hospital, we see hope every day.
And the work of STAR is about collaborating at the community level to bring about social and economic transformation.
Together, we can invest in safer and more empowered spaces for every Jamaican to thrive. Join us.
Where national security is concerned, Dr. Horace Chang is in charge of policy, and it's from that perspective that I ask him again to deal with this issue of body-worn cameras, because the opposition has taken another bite at the issue. Fitz Jackson, who spoke in the sectoral debate on Tuesday, he's the spokesman for the opposition on Portmore. He was once junior national security minister, and he spoke to the body-worn cameras, saying that the next PNP administration will enforce the rules to ensure that body-worn cameras are on the roads in far greater numbers than they are now. So I say to you, Dr. Chang, is it government policy, Holdings administration policy, that is causing body cameras to not be on the roads insufficient
body cameras on the road. But first, it's difficult to accept any projections from Mr. Jackson, who I know well. He was in the government for 18 years and in the Ministry of Finance, where all of these things could have been procured and added to the police force.
But you say you've been in there for 9 and we still are well short of where we should go.
In that 9 years, we have done a lot of things. That's $9 billion, and we have done it on a structured basis, prioritizing it. So there are a number of reasons why there are not more body cameras out there now. First of all, the body cameras I've said about technology, a camera is like one of the key and a keyboard for a computer. But if there's no back room to it, if there's no hard drive, it's of no value. It's just might as well go back to the old typewriter. So we had to build out our infrastructure, and the technological development force is proceeding apace. You need a back room that can absorb, take the information and use effectively. We have had them put up in places where they have little value.
Yes.
You're seeing men on the road with guns, and you can't do anything because you just don't have the manpower to respond when you see a gang of 12 walking across the highway, down the road, a mile down the road.
Yes.
In addition, that nobody will hear you because you're in the middle of the night in a small station.
Yes.
So the first way to do, we had to invest in the police in a holistic way, which is what is giving results now. We look at the working conditions, we look at their terms of service, and we look at what they needed to respond to a highly violent resource criminal network.
Yes.
Which means from besides the physical facility of the stations, the mobility, the communication, and now we're moving for technological input. You just don't put up a camera somewhere. We are buying the CCTV, we have acquired the facility and building out a good command center.
Right, but as you build out the technological backbone for the body cameras, what percentage of the work is complete? What percentage is left to do?
Priority for us, we're down the road. We completed the contract with the C5 earlier this year, and they are now installing. We expect to be in a position to, we had beside the sale, to be in a position to get benefit from it within 6 months. But it take about a year to 15 months to build out. Bear in mind, of course, I said, It's not body cam. When I say body cams are not worn by special operation people, because they call this for special operation to have
Yes.
body cameras. There are many in the PSTB with body camera. And in those areas, it's far more critical at this point in time.
You're talking police who manage traffic.
Police who manage traffic and the interact with the public.
Yes.
Like down the market, in Carnation Market, where you no longer get pictures of police and anybody.
So that's where the body camera use is concentrated.
And that's where it's concentrated now, because that improved relation with the police.
Yes.
The issue of special operations is not routinely used anywhere in the world. That's a fact. I know the gentleman in Indicom who is an Englishman. When England had 34 per 100,000 murder in Northern Ireland, they sent the special operation, the special air services team from the army, not the police. They got the body cam. They are considered the best trained killers in the world. That's who was sent there. They didn't send there with body cam to go track down people. Their murder rate was 34 per 100,000. They're doing that. So men who are faced with armed and dangerous people approach this situation much differently. They have to be armed and they have to prepare to fight. If you put a body cam on, it's very rarely you see anything. God, the very little lady in Harvard Tree Square, who is quite a humble person, saying, but the man can't use body cam when they're fighting when a duck and hide. That, it's common sense. There is research has been done to see where cameras could be abused. And they are not routinely available. You have a special order them. And I can say that quite clearly. I have the research paper, I may send it to you. And they have to build on a helmet that you're using. So the people who are maybe in some of the special ops team which engage people after tracking down for a long period may not be in plain clothes actually. The planned operation, yes, they have to be on the helmet. They have to be embedded in the side of the helmet.
So it can't be on the shirt of the market patrolling police.
The first thing you do when you move to apprehend someone with a firearm, is to protect your body.
Yes.
You hide behind a wall, behind a tree, behind something, and the camera is not seen, then they're going to charge the police with trying to deny the site. So it has to be built to this side, built in. It has to be built with special lenses that are non-reflective, so that they can remain. It has to have bigger batteries that can last long, and when you turn them on, you don't have to turn on because you're active. You don't have time to switch on and off.
Right.
There are a lot of specialized features that have to go there. They are therefore very costly.
Yes.
And the question is it the most urgent thing when you have all the things you're doing?
I've been told.
I would say, Indicom, who is the investigator, has the shooter, the gun, a clean crime scene, and all the evidence is there. They have everything they need to make a conviction, and they have been able to put any in court. When the police go to a murder scene, they first have to decide whether it is murder or not murder. Then they have to find a way to find out what is the murder. If it's a gun, they have to find a bullet fragment and get ballistics, which take time. Then they have to get the postmarks when it was done. They have nothing to work with, and they get convictions. Why can't Indicom find even 2 or 3 to convict?
Yeah. So just
all that they have, they still ask for more.
So just to be clear,
get evidence.
The technological backbone for the body cameras, you're saying the build out is far advanced, you'd say?
Yeah.
All right. And the procurement of the body cameras, which you say have to be affixed to helmets on special operations, have you started that procurement?
No, I have not. We are ordering body cams for individuals who are interacting.
So
with
the PSTEB folks,
the
public order, public safety, transport, and enforcement. Yes,
where interaction with the public is crucial to maintain public confidence, public trust, far more than in the situation we are referring to.
Yes,
and that's the priority.
Yes,
which requires those cameras and still a costly operation as well.
Hear you on that. People are saying, Dr. Chang, I don't know if you know, but especially to the media, the police are very, I don't want to say superstitious, but they're very guarded, very afraid to highlight anything positive because there's this thing, I don't want to jinx it, I'm not doing this interview to talk about this decline in my division, I don't want to jinx it. So beyond the jinx, the plan that you have implemented so far that have yielded these results, what will sustain these results over the next 12 to 18 months at least?
And longer. I think it's what is happening, it's a new phase in police development. And I don't think even the police, while we're doing the development, expand the force, training, promoting over 1,000 officers, and literally creating a new police force with the same manpower, same men and women who are demoralized, and leadership is now emerging, young, bright leadership. They are wary that it could change, what is happening could change. I think we can maintain it because there's a level of confidence that what I say as minister on behalf of this government, they can believe it. What but it needs a little more time to sink in and become institutionalized that if somebody else comes to try and change it, they will take a position that will make it very difficult for them so to do. Plus, the public themselves will rise up in outcry, which is why I said I have no problem with body cams in the medium term, but I have to build out the force that the public feels the benefit of the investment that have come, not just in homicide numbers, in the quality of the service. When two people calling them in the community and they walk to a police station, they walk into a reception area that is clean, organized. It has their own sanitary facility. They got taken to interview in a room that is out of the way.
I'm not taking my statement in a big exercise book.
Yeah.
You're putting it in the computer.
Which is
or the tablet.
There, and they know it's there.
Yes.
If they make a mistake, the mistake will be recorded and be there.
Yes.
So it's a whole new phase, and they need to see that operating for some time to feel more confident about speaking.
Yes.
You find officers speak quite confidently.
Yes.
Even more now, but they are careful. Plus, as I said, it's not the kind of thing you can have a change. There was a thought at one time, what came out in one of the trials, the big gang trials, that some people are listening to, hey, that area is now having more murder than me, I'm going to kill some people.
Yes.
There's still a lot of firearms out there. There's still a lot of personal grudges. And you can find, given the improved strength of the police, so that the drive-by shooting increases.
Yes.
So it only takes one event when a man does go, and they shoot down a lot of people in a drive-by. But that too is changing because they move too fast.
Yes.
They expect a police response, and they move a little bit too fast, and it's not as bad as before.
Hear you on that. Thank you for your time this evening, and we certainly hope that, well, all Jamaicans would hope that the trends that we're witnessing, they could indeed continue.
They will continue, and the country can take some confidence in that the investment is paying off.
Hear you on that.
The returns are good enough.
Billions have been well spent, the National Security Minister says. That's my time. I break for the news, well, make way for the news at 7.
I forgot underwater this morning.
Hey, your girlfriend what I do in my corner office.
In your corner office.
Yeah.
We're going to a marine biologist kind of vibe. That corner office. We'll be studying the environment this morning. In the boat.
Yeah.
In the boat. So tune in to the underwater corner office. You never know what you'll find out.
Hold on, this is what you're wearing, Carl?
Yeah, man.
You come bush out though.
Bush out for the boat. God is on board. Fret not.
Jamaica is on a transformative path, and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and its agencies are leading the way. MEGJC Matrix is back for Season 2, bringing you the latest on the projects shaping our nation's future. Big changes, bold moves. This is the Season 2 of the MEGJC Matrix, driving development, transforming lives.
So, I'm sure you took her to a doctor, and what did he say?
He said that she had a hole in her heart. She's a blue baby.
I thought I would find my papa, but I didn't. I found Uncle Jungly instead.